In the meantime, we're going to come up into Urdhva. Whoops. Cat tree and no kittens in it. I have to say it's a little disappointing. Anyway, I am not the boss of them. And then down, and then your belt for Gomakasana. So I just want us to spend an equalish sort of time with a different leg in front. Ooh, doesn't like that at all. Yeah, tight, not wanting to move. Swap sides. Bring that round, bring it on through, putting a bit more detail in there. So front ribs back. Okay, once more each side. Put the detail into it this time. Okay. Up. And thank you very much, by the way, for the Boba Fett Mandalorian love. That was way back in day one. That was my proper confidence t-shirt, you know. Swap sides. And the response was really lovely. Thank you. There we go. So brought those ribs back. I've got longer, I've got taller. I'm firmer on the sit bones, both equal both sides. There we go, good. Right, downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana into Chaturanga a couple of times, and then we're going to. It's all right. There we go. Blocking the view. Right, downward dog. Take my time to come into it. I'm not going to push my shoulders past their tolerance. Chaturanga. I'm going to keep it long armed and back in. So coming forward, so you got the whole of the hands pressed in, coming forwards over the wrists. Now, yeah, if that's painful or if that's overly stressy, you need to have a little height under the heels of the hands. And if you're still going and you can, come into the full. Keep going with that and come back in to downward dog when you're ready. So I showed, was it yesterday? 2 half blocks, you know, half the height, heel of the hand on. Yeah, so that when you come forwards, so downward dog, and come forwards into Chaturanga, or you may be able to do downward dog, keep the blocks there, and then use them for Chaturanga to reduce the extension in your wrist. You know? And come to a block. So Dandasana. Danda is like a bamboo staff, and it's meant to represent your spine. Boop, 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 boop. All your vertebrae. So this is normally done. We're going to do it with the feet a little bit wider apart, so hip width apart. Yeah. I know. And you need to be high enough. Most of us, when we sit down with our legs straight out in front of us, we do that. Yeah, because our hamstrings are pulling on our pelvis, it's tilting it back, and then our spine needs to be there to accommodate it. So, you know, if you can't move this forward and keep it there, yeah, so that's your minimum. Sorry, pointing at you. That's your minimum. No. So, everything else in this pose, more or less, can be compromised on, but not the correct pelvis position to start with. Yeah, so if that's not high enough, go higher. Yeah, if you're, I know some people have difficulty getting down and up again from the floor. I could do this perched on a sofa. I'd do it on a soft chair rather than a hard chair, just because of this line under here. You don't want that digging in to the tops of the hamstrings. So this is where all your seated work starts and finishes. Dandasana. The legs are active, I'm lengthening into my heels, knees are pointing up, toes are pointing up, tummy's lifting. This is Tadasana work, you'll recognise that. Same in the back and down. Instead of the tailbone lengthening towards the floor, it's kind of got the sacrum, top of the sacrum, tilting the pelvis forwards. So, and then a belt. Now, we're going to do Paschimottanasana, which is your kind of very beginners, you know, and it's kind of down here, you know, and you'll see people, you know, when you can take a hold of the feet, you can take a hold of the toes, but look at my back, you know, I've sacrificed everything to get here. It's a very melodramatic statement. I've sacrificed everything in the alignment in my back to be here, right? You know, and you see some people who are really flexible, you know, and I've got to this stage, I think, once before in my life, for a short time, you know, to be able to take the wrist, you know, and then you just put it over there. I need to have my foot about a foot closer. So, use the belt. The first priority, so we've got the rule we don't break, is this one. Forwards there. Legs are active, and whatever height you need to have this. Okay. Number one then, into the Dandasana. So, don't know if you can see, my legs are active there. I'm lifting the muscles up, kneecaps are lifting. Now, if you're hypermobile, you can push the back of your knee down onto the floor, yeah? You need to find a straight leg, and instead of following the instruction to push down, your instruction is to lengthen into your heel, yeah? But a straight leg, you need to work at a straight leg because it'll naturally want to hyperextend. Okay. So, that, and then as you come forwards, see how I'm keeping my head in line with my spine? Just the natural way of having a body and bring it, is you generally want to keep your eyes level, you know, that's a natural thing. So in yoga you sort of need to unlearn that, because what you're doing is you're leading with your chin and you see what's happening here. Now there's nerves in here, there's blood vessels in here, it's a bit of a bottleneck, you know, and that just closes everything down. You know, why would you do it? I don't see that there's any benefit. So learn, keep your chin tucked in, back of the neck long. And when you inhale, I'm going to lift and lengthen my sternum. Feel that in the hamstrings. And that might be as far as I go. You know, I would work there. Active legs throughout, active legs. You know. And then as my hamstrings begin to warm, you know, I can go a little further. I'm not in a rush to get off the belt. And I'm not pulling, you know, I'm kind of bringing these out to the side, so, you know, out like that, so I can stay wide across here. And it's really from this point, it's like, and I'm starting to bend, yeah, but it's really at this point, the feeling is that you're trying to lift your sternum up and over your toes. And I put it there, up and over. So, from here, lift. So I'm trying to get that up. and that's probably the best thing is for you to work. You can work with the belt up here, you know, go down the hamstrings, you can work with the belt down here, really power into that, yeah. Changes the pose, okay, and so you're just trying to, although I'm losing it somewhat in the back, I'm trying to maintain as much length, okay. If you've got a bit of a tummy, you may just need to move it out to the sides so that you have room to move. Okay. Also something different about if you've got a bit of a tummy, yeah, it pushes pressure on your diaphragm, yeah, and it makes your lungs smaller. So, you know, if you're getting quite out of breath for doing things, or, you know, that's a factor in it. So, one last thing just to finish on. It's been a kind of a made up 10 minutes really, isn't it? Upavista Konasana, I think, and legs wide apart, ideally 2 belts. I have only got one with me, there we go, one there and one around here, and you're using that to lift. Sit bones are towards the front edge of the block. Lift the sternum, okay, Knees to the ceiling, toes to the ceiling, and exhale. Ooh, and bend forwards now. Right now, my hamstrings aren't going to tolerate any more than that. I can do much more with the upper body, I can slump, but there's no point. It's about taking the lower bit forwards as much as you can first. So, I'm not quite there. Can I hold on a wee second? Thanks. Okay. And even, so I've sacrificed a bit to get there, but I'm always coming back to this lift, this openness that turns the stretch on here, yeah, activates. There we go. All right. Forward bends. We're going to have a week of them, and you're going to end up loving them.